Yeah, I wouldn't. Wasn't my first choice to go to their concert, but I heard great things from people that have been to previous ones. So
Yeah,
since Kalani wanted to go, I was like, hey, why not? No, no, go with her. But yeah, the whole thing was awesome. The whole atmosphere from getting on the train
mm.
to whole and just being amongst it all, you felt something different about that one. It was just really cool.
Yeah, because like I said before, I'm not really a 660 fan, but I remember their concert at Western Springs. I think a couple of
Mm.
years ago or last year. Did you go to that one? Because that was a big
No,
one.
that was huge.
That was
No, all my
huge.
family, Aaron and Kelly went,
Yeah.
and they couldn't stop talking about it. They said you need to go and see them live. Said they bring out a Mary culture group and they do this whole thing. I was
Mm.
going, really? And I was going, oh, yeah, they got a few good songs. Not really. We're not realizing I liked a few more than I actually did that they
Yeah.
actually sing. But no, yeah, I think the whole thing was just cool because it was just the whole Kiwi vibe about it. You had Dave Dobbin, like we got there as Dave Dobbin set came on, and he still got it. It was cool. I mean, and even the young ones were singing along to the songs. And then Drax Project came out, and they were huge in itself. And then yeah, 660 came out in the crowd. I didn't realize the extent or how massive the crowd was because we were actually on the field close to the stage
Mm.
until they showed aerial views.
Oh yeah.
And it was great. It was awesome, I must admit.
Yeah, I saw those aerial views on social media and the Herald. I think they posted some. They had a couple articles about the concert. But man, the amount of people there, it's like shit,
I know. The only time
packed.
I've ever been to an event with that amount of people was the World Cup.
Okay,
We're all
yeah,
Black.
yeah, yeah,
So and that's a whole different thing. I
yeah,
mean, you're on the stands, not actually on the field.
yeah. And the
But
whole
to
and
stand
looked like the
people
whole
and you're
field
looking,
was just covered with people.
yeah, it was covered. But you didn't
So,
feel it like you didn't feel squashed or
oh,
didn't feel
sure.
like there had too many people in.
Mm.
Still had seating areas for those that wanted to sit down, get away from the mosh pit.
Oh,
But
yeah,
then they dimmed the lights. There was one part they dimmed the lights, and he asked everyone to put their phones up. You see it on TV. Everyone's got their phones lit, and everything was dark, and that's where you could see.
yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. I was just standing there. I had my hands in my pocket, my phone in my pocket. My daughter's like, "Get your phone out." I said, "Nah, I just want to enjoy this."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Pretty
no,
much the whole atmosphere, eh? Because I remember when I first heard 660 when they first came out, and they came out through Tikitane, I think, with
yeah,
their first
yeah,
song and that. But man, when they had that concert at Western Springs, and it was a big hit, it was like so many people. That's when I realized, man, this band. I didn't realize how
yes,
big they were, eh?
yeah.
And
So I
and
think, yeah,
and
for
like you
me, it
said,
was
like
when
the Kiwi vibe sits to their music. I
yeah,
think the whole country just supports them because of that.
yeah.
You know.
It felt like everyone just was on the same wavelength. They were just singing along, and I think for me, the turning point for them to be recognised worldwide was when they translated that song into Māori, and then they
Okay.
just sung. That was like their anthem for 660. Like if you're gonna think of one song, you're always gonna come back to "Don't Forget Your Roots" and how they had that Māori version of it.
Mm.
Because everyone was waiting for it. Like even on the train ride there, people were singing that song. It's like, oh, this is going to be huge. You could just feel it, like how huge it's going to be. Because we were at the first station, Ranui, and so as we got along, we were picking up people along the way.
Yeah.
And they was just singing that song, and it felt like we were singing that song from Ranui all the way to Mount Eden about 50 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, no,
Well, so were there a lot of concert goers jumping on at the Ranui station
yeah,
with you
we
guys?
had yeah, we had quite a few of my family that turned up to my house because we lived so close,
Mm.
and people were walking in the alleyway beside our house, and you just knew that they were going to 660 because you could hear them singing from the road. So we had it, just the atmosphere of us going to the concert. We had it playing in the house,
Yeah.
and you could hear them singing from the road. And as they got close to their house, they were like just everyone was cheering and like, yeah, we'll see you at the concert. We're like, oh yeah, okay. And there was a stream of people, and the train just got more and more packed. And by the time we got to Mount Eden, it felt like, yeah, we were just all just like following each other, but well planned out. Like, they were telling you, no, pretty much when you go to a game, what gate to go to where your gate was, you know, all the safety brief that we St. John's and that were. So, yeah, it was really good, well organised.
Yeah.
They need more.
You know, I'm just wondering, you know, when the Chiefs are playing at Eden Park and you guys catch a train to the Chiefs Blues game, is it packed like that? No.
No.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't been packed like that since we went to a Bledisloe test, and that was the only time I've ever seen it like that. But not people standing up. You know how you think of a New York subway and everyone's standing up, and you know, or an Indian train. That's what it looked like that night. And still trains were running like every half an hour, I think it was.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they were waiting for people to get on at a certain time. Like you had this amount of time to get to that station. They were continuously running. So we got on about, I think it was like the 5:30 train. And yeah, it was packed. And there was still, you could still see people like parking up their cars at the park and ride as our train were leaving, you know, waiting for the next one to come through. So, yeah.
So how many of you went?
Here, I think that we had a group of, just trying to count now, about 15 of us.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, that sounds like a good time for you guys. When you guys got to Kingston and got out, when you guys got to Kingston and got out, what was the scene?
Everyone was just happy. Like we can see Eden Park. At that time, we could hear Dave Dobbin coming on. So people were just like, yeah, you know, that real pumped up feeling, that real, everyone was going there for I think everyone knew that they were making or becoming part of that history as well. There was that whole, like, you know, really exciting, you know, it was really cool. And we had age group, like the eldest that was with us, 62. So we had a 62 in our group, and the youngest was 15, which was my girl. So we had a whole, you know, varied range of ages, and we all just had the same vibe the whole time we went from my house on the train to Eden Park, and even coming home, like leaving Eden Park, we're all still on a massive high.
Yeah. How long did it take to get actually into your seats from when you guys?
No, not long.
Okay.
Not long, because they had every gate open, and as you got off the train, they had those announcements coming through all the time saying, check your ticket. If you're at gate Q, go to your right, you know, and then blah, 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 and everyone else's gate. So we knew everyone seemed to know where they were going, got inside your gate. Like we had half of our group got seats in the stands, and the other half of us were on the field. So they managed to find their seats straight away. And I guess another thing is if you go to Eden Park, so if you kind of know Eden Park, it's easy, but they made it easy for those who are coming out of town too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So were you on the stands or were you on the field?
I was on the field.
Oh, yeah. And man, how was that? How was that? Because it's a different sort of thing. Like the news said, it's the first time ever concert was played at Eden Park. And you know, the first time ever, history was made that night. And for the fans, of SIX60 to be on that field, you know, if you were a rugby fan, being on that field would be a different feeling. You know, like you're on this field for a totally different reason other than playing sport. You know, and like I just want to get that. How did you feel?
That was me. I felt I came on thinking I'm on actually standing on Eden Park. The last time I stood on Eden Park was probably the first NPC game for when Auckland first had NPC competition. And I was actually saying to my cousins, I'm going to try and find a tuft of grass and I'm going to pull it out and put it in my pocket. And they're looking at me like, hey, we're going to Eden Park for this concert. I said, yeah, I know, but do you know it's at Eden Park? We get to stand on Eden Park. And then the reason why I did agree to go onto like the field was because my daughter wanted to get real close. Otherwise, I think I would have been up in the stand because it is a different vibe. It's everyone's just dancing at the same time, jumping up and down at the same time, and I guess age is catching up with me. The seats, well, I could have happily sat at the seat, but in saying that, I was just honoured to be standing on the field at Eden Park at one of the first bands to ever play there. So, hey,
I
it's
think
all worth it.
I think it goes down in history, like when Bob Marley performed at Western Springs.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the
It will
days.
always be remembered, you know, like Stillwater. And, you know, I mean, they did have, there's been a lot of debate about this actually because the Osmonds, they actually played at Eden Park, but they weren't, people wouldn't say, well, they actually weren't a band, they were just two, you know, brother and sister. So they actually did have like small groups that have actually played at Eden Park back in the day, but this band, you know, if you think of a band and internationally recognised, first one ever to play at Eden Park, and it was just, I think it was just awesome, and to have the whole world watching, you know, because we were all standing there thinking this time last year, we're all in lockdown, you know, all worried about this COVID, and now we're all out here busting out SIX60 songs and just on Eden Park on a cool night. Yeah, it was just awesome.
Yeah, you know what? For a second there, I forgot about the whole COVID-19 thing going around the world. the way New Zealand is partying up with our concerts and our sports games, having full stadiums and all that. We're the envy of the world right now, you know. So it's a good.
And I just feel like, with that bubble from Australia, we only had like Australians come over and attended that concert. You know, just hoping that the bubble would be opened in time for it, that they got their tickets long before the government had said, yeah, we'll open up this bubble, and it just coincide with, you know, the concert. I don't know if the concert had any influence on it, so there was a few Australians that had come just from the airport straight to Eden Park for the concert. I was like, it means a lot to a lot of people, and it was one of those things, you know, you just had to be there to actually feel the extent of the whole night. You know, many people been to heaps of concerts, and like yourself, I'm not a huge SIX60 fan, but just being there, I felt honoured and privileged to be able to go to such an event.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because I'm not a big SIX60 fan, but the event itself appealed to me more than anything else, you know. And being there, because how many people did they tell you up to be there? Do you know the official count?
50,000 people.
50,000, shit.
Going on ticket sales.
Yeah.
And it surely did feel like 50,000. That's for sure. I mean, just the singing alone, the chorus of everyone just singing was loud, and it was awesome, and everyone dancing at the same. It just felt like the whole of Eden Park was swaying side to side. That, you know, because everyone was jumping up in the stands and people jumping up and down on the field, and standing on the outside looking in, you were probably, you know, thinking, man, I wish I was inside there.
Yeah.
You know, watching it on TV again, you know, all those clips. Exactly what you see and what you feel watching it from the outside looking in is exactly what we felt being inside there. Yeah.
So you made your way to the field. Who was the first ex that you guys saw when you first got there?
Dave Dobbin.
Yeah. And then
what was his thing? Slice of Heaven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
Young Kid. Yeah, exactly. So as you're walking in, and we came in through the so we came from the outside field where they usually have the smaller cricket games. We came through here, and then they had underneath like a little tunnel area as if you're going up into the terraces. They had like a little tunnel coming in through that way, and you walk in, and then massive screen on the other side where the terrace is, and he's up there with his young band, and he's singing Slice of Heaven, and people just, you know, he's getting everyone in the mood, get people going, and everyone's like trickling in. Then it didn't take long. His set was about 6 o'clock, 6:30, and then he finished off with Welcome Home. So that again, the whole crowd was just people just coming in there to listen to that, and then they had a little bit of a a little bit of a break, and then the lights went off, and then Drax Project came on, and he just started singing all of the songs that I didn't even realise he sung, but was able to sing along to them.
Yeah.
And to my daughter's embarrassment, she's shaking her head no to me now, like no. So that was, yeah, and that was the whole thing. But he had like the food stalls and that all on the outside. So if you wanted to get me to eat, you had to go out. The only thing that was on the field as such was bars for drinks in St. John.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have
so
like you didn't have like a certain area you can drink at, like the other music festivals we have. You could just
like
drink anywhere.
Area.
Yeah.
Yeah, just drink anywhere.
Oh, because it was past the cups or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I never went. Once I came in, we never left the field. If we wanted to sit down, there were like areas to the side that you can go to, so you didn't need to go back out unless you wanted to get something to eat. So the only lines that they had were people lining up to go to get drinks. All the other lines were out, which was a great idea because you're not having different lines, all of these people crowding at, for food or toilets or anything like that. Because there would have been no room for them to be in there anyway. That whole field was just full. So yeah, the layout of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 660 comes out.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about their set?
They were much awesome live, and they never stopped. The whole 2 hours they were on, they never stopped to like talk about, thank you, or did any like long instrumental things where you're thinking, okay, come on, just get to the next song. It was just one song after the other, and the lighting was awesome. The only time we really spoke was to say, put your phones on, light up the stadium. She did that. It wasn't until right to the end that the whole band just went quiet, and he spoke about how momentous the moment is and how privileged him and his band are. And then you could see them crying, actually, because the whole stadium kind of lit up with the stadium lights, and that's when you could see everybody in the crowd and the vast number of people just everywhere. And he had a long stage that ran down the middle, so he walked all around there, and everyone was just, everyone from the crowd was standing up. We were all just like, everyone had their hands up in the air, just clapping for them for, it seemed like a good 5 minutes. It probably wasn't, but it did seem like the applause went on for ages. But yeah, every song, people were singing, people were dancing. People were just happy. Yeah, that's how cool it was.
Man, so how would you rate this? Out of all the concerts you've been to, how would you rate this one? Where would you put this one?
Oh, that's I have to put it up there. I mean, I've been to Fleetwood Mac, and that would always be a 10. And I've been to UB40, and that's a high 10 as well. I'll have to put it up there as the 9, only because I stood the whole time. That's the only thing. Yeah. I reckon if I was my daughter's age, I would have, but it was definitely way up there. Definitely. Would I go to another one of theirs again? I'm not sure. But I know a lot of people will, because some of the people in my group that I went to the one at Western Springs, but also went to other ones around New Zealand. So, and they absolutely loved this one. The whole time, even now, they're still talking about it and just how awesome the whole event was. And I guess you've got to go with a good group of people too that appreciate the band and just, not just appreciate the band, but appreciate good music, I guess. But yeah, it's got to be about a 9, I'd say.
9.
And definitely high 9.5. Other 0.5 I stood up. Don't agree with that. You're at our age.
Did they do an encore at the end?
One song, they do that famous. They go, they say this is our final song for the set, and everyone's like, yay! And then they do that dramatic. Lights come on, they exit left, and the whole crowd, one more song, one more song. And that's when he came out, and that's when you could see the tears, and he did the whole walk down the And you know what? I like to think I can recall the last song they sang. I think I was caught up in that because everyone was loud by then. Everyone was screaming. You had people singing and screaming and cheer-hooing and all that, knowing that that's their last song they're going to play on the night. Their actual last song, so I can't really recall what it was. But I know it was good because I remember dancing to it, so it was a good song.
Oh, shit. So the concert finish, was it pretty safe for everyone leaving the stadium and getting on the trains again? And
that was probably my only concern about it. I don't know if it, mummy brain. I was always looking. I remember going to my daughter because you were so close to the stage. You always worry about people pushing. So I said to my daughter, if you feel someone pushing against you, come and grab me and we'll go. No, I had already made an exit plan in my head. Looking around as you do on the planes. Count how many seats in front of you to the exit row. I was already looking at the exit that was people least walking towards because they know the exit was behind us. So I thought, okay, they're gonna only think covering that was a bit of a barrier. She said, oh, we'll walk up there and that will take us near the Kingsland tracks and then we'll have to walk down to Morningside. She looked at me like, yeah, but nothing of that. It wasn't until the whole lights came on then people started moving. People wanted to go. You get out in the street and, people, you're walking against the crowd and like that, but no one's pushing against each other. Everyone's very polite and to move left when people are walking towards you. But my only concern, because trains leaving Eden Park to go west had to walk. The passengers had to walk through Morningside because Kingsland were only taking South Auckland. South Auckland. Yeah. So that wasn't a hassle because you're just going with the motion of people. It just felt like a wave that you're just riding. So we walked there, but then you get to the Morningside station, and then what happens is that because they've got pedestrian level gates, which is like that little maze that you see, it takes you over the train track. So you go from like a crowd of about 50 wide, all coming down to, because you can only fit about 5 wide around those gaps. Because that was my only main concern, was that because they only took one person to trip and fall. And it would have just been, stampede pretty much. But, I didn't really hear any other, anything else about, because you got told as you're going in, trains, Morningside to west, King, and you saw a sign as you came out and that was it, but you're pretty much on your own once you got down to that mobile station outside Eden Park. I didn't really see any security on the train station apart from the train workers or anything else along the way. So that was just, my take on getting out. Yeah.
That's pretty mean. So you're a SIX60 fan now?
Download
all the songs on Spotify?
The songs that I didn't know that they sing, I'm more of a fan of those. But actually, I fell in love with Drax Project, to tell you the truth. The lead singer, he can play the sax and he was on the keyboard and he really knew how to get into the crowd. And coming from a high school band and then they're one of the opening acts for SIX60 and then they actually get on stage and sing a SIX60 song with them. They were their backing band as well. The SIX60 brought them back on to do one of their tracks with them. I thought, man, that's awesome for these young fellas. And I think it's a Kiwi thing, you help your fellow man. So SIX60 knows that they're internationally known and they're successful, so they're just helping maybe what they'll think of the younger brothers that are coming through. It was awesome. It's probably the word I've used the most tonight, but it exactly was that. And also, I'm glad I got to share that with my girl.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we will always remember. And actually, one of her, first concerts to go with her mum and being that. But I did even see young kids. I thought the concert was like for 13 plus.
Oh, okay.
But no, people bringing their young kids. Like I saw some as young as I would say about 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think they were allowed up in the seats. They kind of made like a family event out of it, which you felt safe, you know. There's plenty of security, plenty of people you could go to, and even the crowd were looking after one another.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, you need to go sit down, you need some water. So, yeah, that just made it even more of a positive thing to be a part of.
I guess it was the music itself, real positive vibes coming from the stage, you know, and the crowd just looking after each other, and which was really pretty awesome, you know. It sounds really awesome. Yeah.
It was. It definitely was. Yeah. I mean, we're still talking about it days later, almost a week later. And I guess it'll be something we'll continue to talk about, like all those great ones, like you mentioned Bob Marley's one and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked about it for a long time. And I do hope that they carry on having concerts there. Well, you know, one, it's the best way public transport wise. And yeah, two, it's so intimate. You know, Eden Park, it is quite massive when you're watching a rugby game. But when you actually have people on the field, you feel all connected. It feels like, you know, Eden Park is not as grand and as massive as you always, you know, think it to be when you're at a rugby game.
Speaking of rugby games, I know you and your husband are happy about your team. Hey, you guys, man, you guys coming from a big losing streak last year. So
we
now
almost got the record.
Got the record.
We almost got it. I think we drew with Highlanders, you know, 15 losses in a row, I think it was, 14 or 15. We almost had the record, which, you know, hey, at least it was a record.
But it's good to see you guys turning things around. Now you're on a winning streak, 5-game winning streak now.
Mackenzie's on a winning streak, you can say. You know, he's the beast. But I mean, you guys next week, we got the Blues.
Oh, it's a dead rubber. It's a dead rubber game. Yeah,
but it's just, I think that's my favourite games to go to, when the Blues and the Chiefs play together, you know, because we're next door neighbours, and I don't know, it's just always good. I mean, you guys must have been.
I don't think Clayton's going to put on his A team. He's going to rest McKenzie. He's going to rest McKenzie. He's going to rest all those guys.
Yeah.
I know. That's why he's going to rest. He's going to put on the B team.
Yeah. Well, of course. Messon's back as replacement player. So, hey, you know, you're going to see all the old Chiefs coming back for this game. The Blues will still have a stacked team, you know. But you guys got Bowden and Tuivasa Sheck next year.
Oh, so, I'm not holding my breath.
Oh, okay. I just want to make you feel good, you know. Last year you were great. I remember all the posts, and I was like, love it. 2 thumbs up. Well, we were on a losing. You know, everyone was rubbing it in our face, and why have you still got your Chiefs flags up? Oh, you know, supporting the boys. And then this year I see my brother. I'm going to burn those flags, those blue flags. I'm on that Blue Supporters for Life page, and they're all angry as I'm like, hey. Well, no, Blue Supporters got a common thread. They all seem to behave the same when they lose.
Oh, it's for me, being a Blues fan, it's depressing. I mean, last year was a good indicator of where we're at. You know, we got a new coach at McDonald. You know, he's going to come with his Crusaders pedigree. You know, and looks like things were turning the table. You know, things were turning. We came second in Super Rugby Aotearoa last year. And now
would have came through, you know, you're always sitting in limbo. What could have been if COVID didn't hit for that final? So it could have been champs. Yeah.
And now it's like we're taking 2 steps back. It's like shit.
And do you notice it's because, you know, when Bowden's there, Bowden's very controlled, you know, very analytical. Just go in there, play the game, play the moves the coach tells us to do. Don't try and do anything out of your position or try and do too much. And what are the boys doing now? They've started off the season doing that. The first couple of games, they were like, you know, hit the ball, take the ball up, tackle, you know, do all that stuff. All the stuff you learn in rugby, you know, Rugby 101. And then all of a sudden, they lose a game. And it was like the whole plan just went out the window. Now, I'm going to play the game by myself. I'm going to run it up. I'm going to bowl the whole other 14 men on the other side over. And I'm going to try and score a try from my 22.
You know, you're right. You're right. Exactly right. Because that's the problem I have with the Blues right now. I feel like they don't have a plan B or C.
No.
You know, they got this game plan, and that's all they got. And when something goes wrong, like we saw on last week's game, when Talia got injured and went out, we didn't know what to do after that. There was no plan B. So
Blues got to be the only team with 15 captains. You know. I'm like, mate, who hasn't? It's like they walk in the changing room. Who hasn't had a turn this week? Who was the captain last week? We're going to move the peg down the line. You know, we do that in the classroom. Who's the special person of the day? Each day is a different one. It's like that's what the Chiefs are doing. Oh. But you know,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what though. Yeah. I like the Chiefs' chances against the Crusaders in the final.
Why?
The Chiefs are unpredictable.
Yeah,
that's why.
Well, yeah, we're still a young team. You know, we're still a very. You know, as well as going on last year, everyone was like giving the Chiefs crap, and I was like, man, we're still a young team. Look how, on average, age for these boys are still in the 20s. You know, or very early 20s. Still learning, still developing, and then now they finally found their confidence and all that, and get on. I just hope that at those crucial times they don't take Weber off. And, you know, that drives me nuts when he does that. They sub Weber off and they put, I mean, Triple T, yeah, okay, he's a okay player. But you're only like 3 points up. Why would you take off something that's gelling and gelling well, and now they bring on a different player? Now the McKenzie's got to just, change his game to play accordingly to Triple T and all that. So I hope, no, you know what? I do hope too Messam plays in that final. I really do. Wouldn't that just be awesome?
Nah, he'll be playing this weekend for cover for someone to be saved for the final.
Yeah,
the last thing you guys want is for McKenzie to get injured against.
Of course, and Blues will target him too. Blues will make sure they wouldn't care. If they put 8 of their men on McKenzie alone, they wouldn't care. They'll let tries left, right, and centre, and do anything to take McKenzie out. But no, you never know. Blues might come off. No, end of season win.
Okay, before we go, I just want to get your prediction for the score for the Blues Chiefs score.
You know what? I think I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go 27-12, Chiefs. We're going to, Messam's is going to, mate, I'm glad he's back. He's going to be because they've taken away McKenzie, you know, take away all those older players, those leaders. So Messam will come in and be the level headness for those boys. And they'll look up to Messam as Messam's doing his little two-step in that.
Okay. Yeah. So the final next week, Crusaders and Chiefs, what will be the score?
Oh, that's going to be uneven. I would say 13-12. 12 is my favourite number, but 13-12.
13-12.
Chiefs. Okay. How about yourself?
Is
that what you will do today? Are you trying to throw me off? But you're trying to throw me off by putting a C, either that's for Cameron or for Chiefs, and you just that hidden.
No, it's definitely the C. Definitely ain't for Chiefs. I can tell you that.
I thought you were slowly phasing into being a Chiefs supporter and being one of those. Oh, I was always a Chiefs supporter. Always. Okay. Nah, your score?
Oh, my score for I think the Blues will win only because I know Chiefs going to put out a B team, so Blues will blow them out, 23-12.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's our last game that'll be our last game for the season.
And
Dead rubber.
Final. If they're not in the final, who do you pick to actually win?
I'm going to pick Chiefs because, like I said before, Chiefs are unpredictable right now. They've won those close games. You know, Damon McKenzie's been their man in the clutch, and you know, without him, I don't think they would have won those 5 games. But the thing is. The thing is with the Crusaders, they're so good that they know they've got the Blues number every day of the year. But
they've got 10 starting All Blacks in their team that start week in. You know, majority of them start week in, week out. So it's hard to go up against 10. And I mean, and these All Blacks are scattered across all positions. So it's quite hard. It's like playing the All Blacks beating. The only thing I've got to worry about, though, is playing at Crusaders' home ground. That's probably the only thing that's going to throw off the Chiefs. No, yeah.
No, I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to do it.
Me too. I'm glad we agree on something.